Gonna stay in this moment. Gonna lay here on the grass. I don't need to feel lonely. I am finally home at last.
Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney and this is Creative on the Cheap. Today I've got these 4 Dollar Tree spring DIYs for you. Let me know down in the comments after you watch this video which one's your favorite, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. Let's get into the tutorials. For the first DIY, I will be working with this sign that I got from Dollar Tree. I will snip off the ribbon on the back and then flip it over and pop the little heart off, and I have to say I was pleasantly surprised because when I popped it off it was completely smooth underneath. I didn't have to do really any sanding or anything to it. I hit it with the sander, but it was completely smooth. Then once that was off, I took some Waverly white chalk paint and I ended up painting 3 coats on this sign so that it has a nice complete full coverage. Now that my sign is all dry, I have these little fences that I've had for quite a while. They came from Hobby Lobby in the unfinished wood section, just like this, painted white, all good to go. And I'm setting them down so that I know where to put these letters. These letters came from a pack also from Hobby Lobby that I've had for a while, but you certainly could use the ones from Dollar Tree. And if you don't have this fence, you can do a fence just with popsicle sticks. So what I'm doing is placing down the letters for the words Farm Fresh Carrots, and I'm going to be using these as stencils. So once these go down, I will end up painting them over them, and then I will end up pulling them off in the end. Now that the letters are all down, I'm just going to go in and kind of adjust it where I need it to go, and then make sure they are pressed down really good using my little brayer from my Cricut. I'm just smushing them down. You don't have to use a brayer. You can use, your hand, anything flat, just to kind of make sure your letters are attached. Then once that is done, I am going to be using that technique that I showed you a couple weeks ago about distressing, where you use the candle wax. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will link that video down in the description box. It goes into great detail about how to do this technique, but what I'm doing is rubbing it with wax, and then once it's all rubbed with wax, I will be ready to paint it. For the top coat, I will be using this Maze Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to brush it on with just 1 coat. I do not want full complete coverage because, again, I really want this sign to look kind of distressed, but I thought this would be something fun using yellow as the top, and then the white is going to be what's coming through once I start to distress it. While the paint is starting to dry on my sign, I'm going to start removing the little stickers. Now, I'm going to go ahead and full disclosure here. So when I went to start removing them, some of them came off all the way, and then some of them only, like the black layer came off and it left the little white sticky part. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm scraping it right here. As you can see, it's the little white part. So I started going through wanting the complete sticker off, but then as I started to go, it really made the sign more 3-dimensional, having that little kind of fuzzy, it wasn't really fuzzy, but I don't know how to describe it, guys, the little white leftover on the letters. So I just started to peel them off how they came off, and if it came all the way off, great. If it came off just the black layer, great. It's all good. And then once these letters started to come off, I didn't want my sign completely dried, because the next step in the distressing process is you want to start scraping it while the paint is tacky. So here I am going in with my little scraper and just starting to distress it and get it to the way I want it to look. So the sign is all distressed and I finished with the letters, and now I need to trim down my second piece of fence so that it will fit on my sign, and I'm just marking it off and then using my little craft hobby knife. This is from Arteza. It's a set that comes with all kinds of blades and different housings and this little mini mat. I will link it down below if you are looking for a good knife. I've been really happy with this one. So once I get it trimmed, then I'm ready to attach it, and I will be using this Gorilla Glue adhesive spray. And to make this be pretty effective, there's one step you should do, and that is to basically spray the surface that you're attaching to as well as spraying the object. But I chose not to do that. I just decided to spray just the fence, and it worked just fine. I didn't want to mess with hot glue because I didn't want it to bulk up. I didn't want to be waiting for E6000 to dry, and I didn't want to use super glue, so this is what I decided to use because I have it and I do not use it very often. The last step for this DIY is to attach some of these Dollar Tree carrots to this fence, and I just decided to do 6 different carrots, just kind of randomly placing them down, and I'm just going to use hot glue to attach it, and then this sign is all finished. For the next DIY, I'm going to be making what I'm calling a quilted birdhouse. So this is just a little birdhouse set from the Dollar Tree. And then I'm also going to need a candlestick. I'm going to use this crystal candlestick right here, and I am going to go ahead and paint it with some Waverly White chalk paint. Yes, I'm painting it and not spray painting it because if you're new, I have a history with spray paint and it's not a good history. So let's just leave that alone, and I'm gonna go ahead and go for this. Now, I didn't want it to be completely full coverage anyway, so that works out perfectly fine. Now I'm gonna take my super organized fabric and I'm going to pick out several different pieces so that I can cover the pieces of the birdhouse. After spending way too long deciding on fabric, here's what I decided. So I went ahead and cut pieces for each piece of the birdhouse and laid it all out, so I made sure I had what I wanted. And then as far as wrapping the pieces, it's pretty simple. I just took hot glue and I just started by doing one end, and then I would pull it and do the opposite end and just make sure there's not any air bubbles or little gaps in the fabric, and then I would just proceed to do that all the way around. I wasn't too concerned about the inside of it because when you build it, it's not going to be noticeable as far as the inside of the birdhouse. So yeah, just one end, the next end, then the other side, then the other side. Now, as far as the front of the birdhouse, I did do that one a little differently. So for the front piece of the birdhouse, here it is. As you can see, I just wrapped it as normal, and then there's the hole, then that needs to be opened up. So I took a pair of very sharp scissors and I cut 4 little pie slices and just divided it into 4 pieces. So I started by making a little X kind of in there, and then I just, or maybe I didn't. What did I do? Oh no, I guess I didn't make the X. Yes, I did. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay. I'm making an X, and then I'll continue to trim it until it hits the edge of that little circle. And then all you have to do is flip it over and pull the little pieces again, going opposite sides, and glue it down to the back of the birdhouse. Now that the holes opened up, then all I did for the place where the perch goes is I just poked a hole with my super sharp scissors and shoved the little stick right into that hole, and it's good to go. Now it's time to assemble the birdhouse. So I'm going to start by assembling the front and the sides of the birdhouse, and I'm just using hot glue. You certainly could use something more permanent, and honestly, I probably, had I really put some thought into it, would have used my fabric glue for this since it's fabric being attached to fabric, but I was just in the zone and I went ahead and did the hot glue. I also ran some hot glue on the inside seams of the birdhouse just to help it be a little extra sturdy. Then from the sides and the front, I put the base of the birdhouse on, again, with just some hot glue. And then from there, I will attach the roof. Once the roof is on, then I decided I wanted to go ahead and add a little bit of the Dollar Tree moss to the ledge on the front of the birdhouse, and I'm just using some hot glue to attach that moss. And now my birdhouse is all assembled, ready to go. So now I'm just going to take a piece of twine and tie it around my little candlestick here. And then to attach my birdhouse to my candlestick, I am using hot glue. Now, I will say this, it does stick on there and it is on there. There's a little bit of wobble if you go and touch it and move. The reason I'm not making it permanent at this point is because I have this trick where I use a paper towel roll and make the candlestick look differently, and I want to make this candlestick look differently eventually. So if you want it to be permanent, make sure you use something like E6000, and here it is, all finished, all done. This next DIY is super easy. So I'm going to take one of these little jars from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to pull off the twine and save that for later. Then I'm going to go ahead and get the glitter off of it. And then I will take some Waverly White chalk paint and paint the jar white. And then the lid will end up being painted with some metallic galvanized tin paint. While the jar is drying, I'm going to work on the little carrot that I want to attach. So this is just one of those carrots from the Dollar Tree that comes in the pack. I'm using it as a template. The orange felt came from Hobby Lobby and this green felt is from Arteza. So I'm going to go ahead and trace my carrot onto the felt. Then I will cut out the pieces of felt, and again, using my Gorilla Glue spray adhesive, I'll attach the felt to the wooden carrot. Then once that's all finished, I'm going to take these Arteza fabric markers and I'm going to go ahead and add a few details to the carrot, just some lines with the brown marker and a green marker. And then I'll be ready to attach this to my jar. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put the twine back onto the jar. And then once that's done, I'm just going to take some hot glue and attach my carrot to the front of the jar. Here it is all finished. Now let's get into our last DIY. For my last DIY, I will be using this 5x7 frame that I had in my stash upstairs. You could certainly pick up a frame from wherever, the thrift store, Dollar Tree, whatever you want to do. I'm going to paint this with 2 coats of the Waverly White chalk paint, and while the frame is drying, I'm going to take a piece of gray burlap that I got from burlapfabric.com, and I'm going to attach it to the back of the frame using some hot glue. Once that's done, I will stick this back into my frame and then take a stencil that I did make on my Cricut. And yes, this tutorial is coming. I will show you how you can make these plastic reusable stencils. Even if you don't have a cutting machine, there's a way to make them, so I promise that is coming very, very soon. And I'm just going to take some of the Ballet Slipper Waverly chalk paint and stamp it onto the top of the burlap fabric. And then I have this piece of blue tape on the stencil because I didn't like the long tail on this bird, so that's why it's there if you're wondering. And then once I've stamped that down, I'll let it dry, and then I'm just going to take a piece of twine, make a little bow, hot glue it to the bird, and this DIY is finished. Here are the 4 DIYs. Let me know in the comments which one of these was your favorite. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I would love it for you to hit that subscribe button and the bell. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter for all kinds of behind the scenes and just bonus information. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!